Okay. So today's verse 23 onwards, chapter 13. It is very, it's what he describes kind of is summarized in the 30th verse we just chanted. 30th verse was what we just chanted now. Can you chant that once again, Sri Vidya? 30th verse, Sri Vidya.
प्रकृत्यैव च कर्माणि क्रियमाणानि सर्वशः यः पश्यति तथात्मानम् अकर्तारं स पश्यति.
Prakrityaiva, thank you. Prakrityaiva cha karmani kriyamanani sarvashah yah pashyati tathatmanam akartaram sa pashyati. This is kind of a summary of what Bhagavan is trying to tell. We'll look at the 23rd and then we'll come to the 30th. Upadrashtanumanta cha bharta bhokta maheshwarah paramatmeti chapyuktah dehesmin purushah parah. 23rd verse. 24th is ya evam vetti purusham prakritim cha gunai sah sarvatha vartamanopi na sabhuyo bhijayate. So on the 23rd is saying upadrashtanu mantacha, in this body, as a upadrashta, as a witness, as a sakshi, the anumantacha, anumanta means the one who is allowing things to happen and who is the supporter, the bharta, and one who is the bhokta, the ultimate bhokta, the one who is the final enjoyer, maheshwaraha, who is the controller, mahaishwaraha, mahaishwaraha, paramatma iti chapyuktah dehesmin purushah paraha. So that self that is there inside you is the Paramatma himself. Krishna is telling this, that whatever you call as the self, whatever you keep pointing, the thing that which beyond which you can't point any further, that is the self. And that self is, he's saying, Paramatma. Okay. We'll look at the word meaning and then we'll come and explore how to perceive this. Ya evam vetti purusham prakritim cha gunai sah sarvatha vartamanopi na sabhuyo abhijayate. So he's saying, those who understand this truth about the soul, about the Atma, about this, the material nature, he understands this, Purusham, understands Prakriti, understands the Guna, Gunai Saha, along with the three gunas, Sarvatha Vartamanopi. He will not take birth repeatedly. And in whatever condition he is, he will be liberated. He will be liberated from his present condition, whatever condition he is. The moment he understands that there is a Purusha, there is a Prakriti, and there are the Trigunas, and all of this is a play of that. And this Purusha which is inside me is the true self. Then he goes on to say in the 25th verse, Dhyanenatmani pashyanti kechidatmanatmana anye sankhena yogena karma yogena chapare. So different people understand this differently. Some use Sankhya Yoga, some use Karma Yoga, some use Kriya Yoga, some use different kinds of yoga, different kinds of methods to come to this understanding. So 23, 24, 25, let's see what he is trying to explain. He's trying to say, Krishna is trying to say that there is always this thing when you try to dissect, when you try to investigate further into the nature of things, he is taking you to the final outcome. Somebody asked this Stephen Hawking. Those who know Stephen Hawking, he was a great astrophysicist, theoretical physicist. He held the position of Isaac Newton in the Royal Society of Physics in London. A very brilliant mind, very brilliant mind. In fact, modern physics, in terms of black hole, etc., he is the one who propounded the theory, and he explains a lot of those things from there. He's considered to be a great mind. And somebody asked him, "Do you believe in God?" Then he says, "See, as a scientist, if I believe in God, then I will stop investigating any further because I'm jumping to a conclusion. I said, "Oh, who's doing all of this?" Then I investigate. I try to figure out. I use mathematics to figure out models. I try to create different models. I try to run experiments. I try to see how things behave at the atomic at the uh, um, at this level, the current level of interaction is the Newtonian level. Then you go to the quantum level. I try to observe all of this, and I try to make observations and try to derive understanding of how things are functioning. If you directly take me to that end point, say that no, everything God is doing, then finished. There is no investigation, there is no scientist, right? There's no science, that there is no development of thought if you take me to that point. But for a sadhaka, that is the point. See, sadhaka is investigating, starting to find out what is it that everybody is talking about. It is not that we don't know what is the end point. Science doesn't know the end point. Or even if it does, as a scientist, if I have faith, if I religious, there was um, there's a scientist I watched a video of way back, and he would put kumkumam, vibhuti, and do puja and everything. And he'll say, "You are a scientist. Why are you doing all this?" See, that is there. There is a creator, there is a power sustaining everything, all of that. But still, it shouldn't disallow me from investigating from my own ways. In my own ways, I want to investigate what is happening in the material world. So they will use the material world to investigate, but for a sadhaka, they investigate the spiritual world, which means you try to understand that which is beyond your intellect. The intellect cannot understand this. Aprapya manasa saha. It cannot, the mind cannot grasp it, the mind cannot touch it. You're trying to understand that, but you are not using external methods. You're not using, which means you're not using the tools from the outside. You're not using an electron microscope. You're not bringing a microscope and turning it inwards and trying to see what is in my heart, in the hridaya, what is there. I'm not putting it in my head and trying to investigate what is there in my head. Nothing like that. You are investigating the presence that is there inside by the means of introspection. You're using different methods of trying to understand the truth and reality that is there inside. So, this process for a sadhaka or for a seeker is not just an intellectual quest, it is a burning, um, it is a burning need for him to get to that understanding. Because otherwise, why is that? Because he's figured out that all of this doesn't make sense. Doesn't really make sense. Pahalgam, the Pahalgam incident that has happened now in Kashmir. It's such an unfortunate incident and such so bad. In fact, we were talking about it just about 8-9 months ago. We were there in Pahalgam. We had gone there. We were in some of these places, and we were tourists, like the people who got the 20 odd people who got shot. We were tourists like that. It doesn't make sense at all, right? What is happening? Why somebody is getting killed? Why is somebody dying? Why is mishaps happening for people? Why suddenly again Turkey, Istanbul, there is another earthquake? Why is there earthquake happening? Why is there floods happening? Why suddenly somebody is falling off a cliff and dying? Why are buses suddenly, they're turning for years and years, buses will turn properly. Suddenly that day something will happen, that bus will turn, some stone rock will slip, and that the bus will fall off and people there will die. Why? All of these things, actually, if you look at the world, it doesn't make sense at all. You can't make sense out of the world. There are people who have figured this out intrinsically. They figured out somewhere inside, they have felt this, good Lord, doesn't make sense. How much ever I'm trying to apply my mind and my brain and my intellect, it doesn't make sense. Even a scientist will be able to probably say how a plant is growing, how pollen is carried by the bee and it falls into, it sprays on the soil, and from there a plant comes out and it grows, and what happens, all of that he can explain. But he'll never be able to explain why a plant with the same sunlight, one plant decays faster and the other plant grows longer. He may not be able to explain that. Or he'll not be able to explain why suddenly the two plants they've kept, and one plant suddenly a cat comes and tramples over it and the other plant is safe. He can't explain. Why did the cat choose to trample over this plant and not that plant? How can a scientist explain? He can't explain. So what happens is, somebody who's a spiritual sadhaka, he is wanting to go more fundamental, not at the material level. And when he is wanting to go deeper, 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 like a scientist goes, but now he is not, he has realized, in the material world, I go deeper, I will not find anything of meaning. I am searching in the wrong place. Say, like the example is said, if you are inside a television, suppose you are inside just a thought experiment, right? These are nice thought experiments to do. Suppose you are inside the television, will you be able to see the screen? You can't see the screen, you are inside it. How will you see the screen? If you have to see that screen, you should be out of it. So in the world, you try to seek this. It's very difficult. Of course, there's a method to cut through it and see. What idea is to see what is behind all of this. That is the process. So here he is saying 23, 24, 25. He is saying that there is this upadrashtanumantacha, there is this observer, there is this anumanta who is somebody who is allowing everything to happen. He is giving permission for things to happen. In his presence, everything happens. He is the bharta, the supporter. He is the bhokta. He is the one who's enjoying everything. He is the Ishvara. He is the controller. He is the Paramatma. He is the supreme, which is inside you. And from that place of supremacy, he is observing everything. And then from that observation, then he says, one who understands this doesn't take birth repeatedly. Think about it. It's so true, right? The one who is caught in the television will continue to be in the television. He'll run around here, there, here, there. You tell the man in the television, look for the screen. You'll be liberated. He'll continue running around for how many ever, whatever time, he'll continue to run around. He'll never be able to find the screen. He has to step out. And then, then he'll probably then there is a possibility of noticing that there is a screen on which everything was running. So for that to happen, till that you will be in that, and for you to come out and notice this, that is the process. And he says one who has understood this doesn't have rebirth again, which means, will this person go get caught up into the screen again willingly? Understanding that the screen is a trap and he's stuck and you're going around and round and round and round, not knowing how to come out. Once he is out, liberated. He may choose to. These are Mahangal who come back, take form. They may choose to go into back into the screen, instead of into the television, without losing their identity, knowing that I am not part of that. I'm just going there to help other people who are like me who are like me right now going around inside the television figuring out what to do. There are many such examples we can think of, right? What we are saying here is the ability to step out of that activity, zone of activity of Prakriti, to be able to step out of that and then observe. He says one who has known this doesn't wouldn't be born again, because there is no need for him to be born again. Why are we born again and again and again? Because we haven't broken loose of that. We haven't jumped out of the, what do you call, the carousel, the giant wheel இருக்குல்ல. We are in that giant wheel, we are afraid, we are holding on to the giant wheel so tightly. There is no liberation from the giant wheel. In fact, Bhagavan gives us suffering by turning the giant wheel faster so that it throws you out. But we hold the giant wheel even tighter. Ayyo, 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 ayyo. Bhagavan is like, ayyo, muttale. I'm doing this so that you can let go. You will get flung, you will get thrown. But with the faith that Bhagavan hold me, he'll catch me, he'll protect me. I'll not be destroyed or shattered. So till that, we are in this cycle, it'll keep going round and round and round. There is one who is able to do that. Then next time you go onto the giant wheel, you will know, you will go playfully go. That is why you see a lot of great masters who've been born again, they come playfully into this world. They come playfully and they leave playfully. They know they can't get caught. Then he goes on to say, 25, people take different routes to this. Dhyanenatmani pashyanti kechid atmanatmana. Some perceive this, the supreme soul or this atma, in their own hearts through meditation. Dhyanena atmani pashyanti kechid atmanatmana. Some through knowledge. Anye sankhya yogena, by the means of knowledge, jnana yoga. Some through karma yoga. Karma yogena cha apare. Others through karma yoga. But whichever way, each one chooses their own way to figure this out. It depends on what our constitution is, what works for me, what kind of guru I've received, and how does the guru lead me. All of this, there are many different combinations of why a certain path works out for me. And sometimes a combination of these paths work. Right? He said sometimes Jnana, Sankhya Yoga, which means knowledge, absorbing knowledge, and then you go to Dhyana Yoga. You absorb knowledge and then sit and meditate upon it, Dhyana Yoga. And then you apply it in Karma Yoga. You apply it as Karma Yoga. So sometimes it's a combination of all of that. So different people do different things. Anye tvevam ajanantah shrutva anyebhya upasate. Others who are unaware of these spiritual paths, they hear from others and start worshipping the Lord. Anye tvevam ajanantah. Anye tu evam ajanantah. The ones who don't know this, shrutva, by hearing, anyebhyah, from other people they hear, upasate, they start doing upasana. Te api chati tarantyeva. They also ati taranti. They can also cross over mrityum shruti parayanaha. By just by offering themselves to devotion and listening to saints. Like how Shabari, for example. What was Shabari doing? Somebody told there is a Rama. He is a Purushottama, he is Bhagavan, he is Narayana Avatara. That's all. What did she do? Did she go and, oh, okay, is there Rama? Let me go and look up, let me read Upanishads, Vedas, Bhagavatam. Right, Bhagavatam came later, but yeah. But but did she go and look up all the Upanishads and all of that? Let me read so that when Rama comes, he tests me. He'll ask me, okay, explain what is the difference between what are the four Purusharthas? Can you please explain, Sabari? I say, Sabari, can you please tell me what is the three types of Karana? Nimitta Karana. Which what does it mean? Is he going to do a Viva question and then decide whether Shabari is a good sadhaka soul or a evolved person? No, it is purely out of devotion. All she did was Rama 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 Japa. She didn't need this kind of knowledge. She didn't need. These are the technical. It's for the technical mind that we need this knowledge, because we have, what has happened is over time we have sharpened our intellect. Because we have sharpened our intellect, that is the only tool that is available for us to investigate. See, even in our lifetimes we have seen people who are just able to go sit in Nama Sankirtanam, sit there and just enjoy and have tears. We have seen such people, right? And when you're young, we would think, என்ன லூஸ்தனமா அழறா அப்படின்னு. Or you'll say, எனக்கு ஒரு ஃபீலிங்கும் வரலையே. சும்மா they're just singing Krishna Rama. Why so much feeling? I don't get any feeling. That is them. That's all right. Not all of us are the same mold. So each one is different. And for whatever reason, maybe through genetic transmission, maybe through what we have done in previous janmas or whatever, our intellect has become the only tool that we have to understand these things. Because otherwise we feel it's blind faith. And we don't want to fall into blind faith, which is also okay. Because in this time and age, there is a lot of abuse also that is happening. So you also use some amount of your intellect so that you don't fall prey to abuse. Right? Like the guru told the Sishya, Sarvam Brahmamayam, or he told, Aham Brahmasmi, Sarvam Brahmamayam, Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma. And in the Mahavakya, he told, okay, road la porche. Then he got trampled over by the elephant. So Guru comes and tells, what nonsense is this? He said, Bhagavan, Guru, you told everything is Brahman. Elephant was Brahman. He said, the Mahut on the top was also Brahman. He kept telling you move aside. Why didn't you listen to him? This much amount of uh, common sense we got to apply. But the point is, we shouldn't sharpen the intellect to the extent. I have seen people who have sharpened the intellect to the extent where they go so deep into investigating the Shastras and the Upanishads and Vedanta, all of that, they go so deep and they give up because Shraddha is missing. When Shraddha is missing, you'll miss the point. You'll miss the point. Yesterday, I was listening to someone very beautifully explained, saying that how Ramayana, Mahabharata, and all of these works, if you go to investigate the fact of them, you can keep investigating it. And you will never get to a conclusion. You'll say, did Mahabharata happen? Did this person do that? Did Ravana really have 10 heads? All of these questions you can keep asking, but the fact is not important there. It is the spiritual value that is being taught that is more important. The spiritual value is more important, right? Like the example the person also gave was, if somebody comes and asks you, um, suppose I come and ask, oh, do you know Mira? So you say, yeah, I know Mira. So then, so how is Meera? So will you say that, oh, Meera is uh, 5.3 feet tall, she's got long nails, black hair? This is not how you'll explain or describe Meera, right? You say Meera is this kind of a person. You'll describe the characters of the person. What you would describe as the physical parameters won't be, you won't be wrong. You'll be factually right. But that is not what this person is wanting to know, right? Yeah, yeah, I saw Mira off late. Yeah, she's happy, she's fine, she's good, she's that's all you'll say, right? You'll not start describing the physical parameters. So this is the difference between fact and actual what you're trying to communicate. So in that sense, we're saying there are different people. By listening, there are different ways in which you approach the same idea. Some people do it by devotion, because you don't need the intellect. Sometimes it's okay to shut off the intellect and tell the intellect, shut up, I just want to be in Bhagavat Anubhava. That is why Anubhava is very important. If intelligence does not, or intellect does not enable Anubhava or experience, then Buddhi or intellect is just a tool which can't take you any further. Like they say, you can't, you got a knife and you can only, you tell, okay, stitch a cloth with a knife. You can't, it will only tear it further. So like that, he says, Anye Tvevam ajanantah, those who don't know these things, Shrutva anyebhya upasate. By listening to other people, just by listening to the beautiful things about the glories of the Lord, somebody has said, they get into Krishna Bhakti. By listening, which is why Bhagavatam, you go to listen to Bhagavatam, Devi Bhagavatam or Srimad Bhagavatam, or different kinds of upanyasa, you go and listen because you listen to the glories of Bhagavan, you listen to those glories. It's not to go and investigate to say that, what nonsense is this? How can he say that, um, um, you know, Ravana had 10 heads? How is it even biologically possible? I don't, Valmiki is talking nonsense. Then you're losing the whole point. Valmiki is not trying to say he's got 10 heads. He's trying to say he's got as much knowledge of 10 heads, and yet he's got so much ego and pride. He had so many women, he had conquered so many people, yet he was not able to conquer one lady. And who finally came to rescue monkeys, which he thought are the lowest of, in the chain of creatures, the lowest creatures, they came to rescue. They burned down. Hanuman is a monkey, burned down the whole Lanka. So to say that he had so much of knowledge, but at the end of the day, the ego and the pride that he carried destroyed him. So it is to show that Vidya, that way, Aparavidya is how much ever you have, because he was so learned. Ravana was so learned, right? And all kinds of Shastras, the Vedas and the Vedangas. In fact, the way it was said is 4 Vedas and 6 Vedangas. Those are 10 heads. So he was so knowledgeable, he knew everything. That is how. So you lose the point otherwise. Right? If you focus on some of these things, we lose the point. So he's saying that in bhakti, tepi chatir anantyeva mrityum shruti parayanaha. They go beyond mrityu through the by listening shruti parayanaha. So which means by listening to devotional uh, um, devotional discourses, devotional sankirtanas, etc. Just by being in devotion, they transcend. Then yavat sanjayate kinchit sattvam sthavara jangamam kshetra kshetrajna sanyogat tat vidhi bharatarshava. Whether moving or unmoving, you see everything in this creation It is a combination of kshetra, kshetrajna yoga. So this is where he is using the term kshetra, kshetrajna yoga. Kshetra, which is the field, kshetrajna is the one in the field, the Atma. The combination of the two is what enables this whole creation and the creative process. 28th, he says, Samam sarveshu bhuteshu tishtantam parameshwaram vinashyati vinashyatsu avinashyantam yaf pashyati sa pashyati. The one that is indestructible amongst all that is destroyable. All that can be destroyed, amongst that there is one that is indestructible. That is him. That is Purusha. That Purusha, the one who sees it, sees it. எவனுக்கு புரிஞ்சதோ அவனுக்கு புரிஞ்சது. That's all. Can't do much about it. You get it, you get it. You don't get it, you don't get it. Keep going through it. Okay? 28th verse, he's saying that. 29th verse, Samam pashyan hi sarvatra sama avasthitam sam avasthitam Ishwaram. The Lord that is present everywhere, sam avasthitam, everything, everywhere equally. And those who don't degrade na hinastyatmanam atmanam, who don't degrade their mind with their own mind, tataha yati param gatim. Such people attain to the supreme. Right? You use the mind in the right way. You use it in the right way for your own upliftment, not degradation. And then the last one, 30th. Prakrityaiva cha karmani kriyamanani sarvashah yaf pashyati tathatmanam akartaram sapashyati. So, what he is now saying is coming to this point where he is saying that which is there, which you are recognizing as the self within you, the silent self that is observing, it is observing, it is not, does not partake in the creative process. It does not partake. It is only observing. It is as though, this beautiful example that, an interesting example that Jnaneshwar, Sant Jnaneshwar has given, he's saying is as though it is in a house, there are people moving, but the house itself doesn't move anywhere. House is in a state of observation. It is just observing. People are moving, running around, children, old, this, that. So everything that you're experiencing as thoughts, as emotions, when you're young, when you're old, people that you're seeing, things that you're seeing, things that are happening, everything, just think that it's as though these are different things that are happening in your presence. Can I come to a place where I recognize that all of this is happening in my presence? Like how Ramana told, Ramana Bhagavan told Papa, what is his name? Papaji. Papaji, what is his name? Forgot his name. The guru was in Lucknow. Papaji told him he was he had this visitation of Krishna regularly. Bhagavan Ramana told him, and he said, what do I do? Krishna comes, I'm feeling so happy, and then Krishna goes away. Then I keep waiting for him, and then again Krishna comes, I'm happy, I enjoy, I have time with him. And then he goes away again. Harilal Punja. Yeah, that's his name. So he says, what do I do? Then Bhagavan Ramana tells him, the next time Krishna comes to you, tell him, please don't keep coming and going. Somebody asked Bhagavan, right? We've said this before also. Somebody came and said, Bhagavan, Perumal Vandarna, Bhagavan, when Bhagavan comes to you, Ramana, what will you ask? Or what will you say? He says, இந்த வந்து போகிற வேலையெல்லாம் என்கிட்ட வச்சுக்காத. And don't engage in this coming and going. because I want to be in the presence of that which is always there. And it is there. All it takes for us to pay attention. We have to pay attention. Right now, we've known this. See, we possibly have been doing satsanga the last 4 5 years now. And we know we are the same person we were sitting 4 years ago. I'm the same individual. I was there. I'm the same individual who was there in some other place yesterday. I'm the same individual who 10 years ago I was much younger, less white hair. I'm the same person who was. So you have this sense of continuity. What gives you the sense of continuity? And every day you go to sleep. Every night we sleep and forget ourselves. Yet there is a sense of continuity. What is there? What is the sense of continuity that is continuously there with me? நான் எங்க போனாலும் என் கூட வருது. Like I told, immediately after on the day of marriage, I was wondering who is this following me everywhere. Pata, Kavita, my wife. Because you're not used to that. You just go around anywhere, wherever. Now suddenly after marriage, there's somebody who's coming along wherever you're going. This is that. This is the difference between the object and the shadow. Our focus goes onto the shadow. What is that object that is always there? So what is there which is always here? Not what is always there. It is actually there is a wrong term. What is always here? Because when you are experiencing, you close your eyes and you say, okay, where am I? What is this here? That experience is always in the now. Think about it. That experience is always in the now. It can never be elsewhere. Just try this. Can you be anywhere else? Can you experiment this? Can you be anywhere else? Mind can go 100 different places. But your presence can always be here only. Wherever you go, you're here. You go to the Rishikesh, you go to Himalayas, you go to Mount Kailash, you go to Annapurna base camp, you go underwater. Wherever you are here, you are here. Wherever you are here only. That that sense of that here, that here-ness, I am, this here-ness, this is what he's talking about. He's saying, touch that. The moment you know that, the moment you know that and becomes a living experience to you, then there is no death. There is no death means you've transcended the death of the body and the mind. It doesn't matter to you anymore. And hence, there is no rebirth. That is liberation. Okay? So, in the 30th verse, he says, Prakrityaiva cha karmani kriyamanani sarvashah. Prakriti is what is moving everything, making everything happen, run. Yav pashyati tathatmanam akartaram sa pashyati. The one who perceives the akartara, the one who is akarta, the one who doesn't move, doesn't do anything, he is not impacted by anything. Such a person really sees, truly sees. He is a seer. He is a rishi. He is a brahmagyani. So this is what Bhagavan has been telling him. Kshetra kshetrajna yoga. Okay, so there are 5 more verses. We'll see next week. We'll finish off the chapter. Om kayena vacha manasendrayirva buddhyatmana va prakrite svabhavat karomi yatyat sakalam parasmai narayanaayeti samarpayami sadashivayeti samarpayami jagadambiketi samarpayami sadgurunathayeti samarpayami. Hari Om Tat Sat Gurubhyo Namaha. Deva. Hari Om.